Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can't work your pencil.
What? Can't write.
All right, before I do roll call, I would like to take one moment here and welcome the newest member to our illustrious little group, Mr. Ayer. Welcome aboard.
Yay!
Very happy to have you.
I think it's funny that my email address is
Oh, my God. Wow.
Okay,
So
Oh, that-
Rob doesn't get to go first anymore.
hold that thought.
Matt gets to be the first one.
All right, on roll call, Mr. Ayer,
Here.
Mr. Bartlett,
Here.
Mr. Brown Knight,
Here.
Dr. Lewis,
Here.
Mrs. Rankin,
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
Here, all right. All right, any question regarding the minutes? And we have two sets of minutes. We have the budget hearing from July the 10th and the council meeting from the same, I guess they were on the same date, weren't they?
Budget meeting.
And the special counsel, I think, is there too, isn't it?
Any questions, alterations? If not, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Matt, I think you should probably
Yeah,
abstain.
I'll abstain.
Okay, so Mr. Ayer,
Abstain.
abstain. Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rush you if you hadn't.
No, you're fine. Aye.
You okay?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes.
We have two, wait. I thought you were a lefty, Bill.
Yeah, it looks like,
Matt and I are lefties.
Yeah, I thought we had three, yeah.
it looks like, though,
We have three sets.
Yeah.
we had three sets.
That's what I was
Because
confused.
Susan
Yes.
would
Yes.
abstain.
Three sets.
Abstain
I
from the
was-
special
That's
meeting.
what I
Yeah.
said.
All right. Well, then let me ask the question this way. The special meeting of council, July the 18th, are there any questions regarding those minutes? No?
No.
I'm not hearing any. All right, then a motion and a second to accept those, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer,
Abstain.
Mr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight,
Abstain.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, all of that then. All right, in communications, we have the report from Police Chief Hines. I know you all have studied it over in great detail, and we have two fine officers with us here tonight that can answer any of your questions. No questions?
I just appreciate them being here.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for coming. And do you wish to, any comments or anything to add? No?
There are a couple nice letters about you guys in this packet. Always good to see.
Well, not specifically them.
There was.
Well, I do have a couple comments that I do want to kind of call attention to. The police chief up in Indian Hill is calling attention to Officer Steve Watts and Matt Kurtz. Apparently, they gave a very good assist on an apprehension of a couple of auto theft suspects. I guess you guys know about that? Yeah, okay.
And a stolen gun.
And the what?
They
And a
took a
stolen
stolen
gun.
gun off the streets.
Took a stolen gun off the street, that was very good. And there was also a letter in there regarding something that Vicky Hill had done,
Yes.
sort of,
Maria Bailey.
uh-huh, yep. All right,
Good work.
yes, very good work.
We should make it a point to say thank you to Vicky when we see her.
When we see her, yes. All right. All right, then moving on to Rob,
Why- Wait,
you gonna let me move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Rob has, wishes to make some comments,
No,
commentary?
I don't have any comments. I just, so
Just-
Bill and I had talked before about trying to create more of overview dashboard type thing. We've been talking about this for over a year. And so, I've just put something together, since we're at the halfway point of the year, that looks at the overall position year-to-date and how that compares versus 2022. So, as I said, we're actually doing very well. Revenue's up, mostly because the income tax is higher, even net of any tax refunds even. And the interest income, we got 50,000 more than we had last year. Property tax is up some. And then from, we have some grants and other things like that where the income's not quite as high yet. I understand tennis and pool are coming from the PayPal account.
Correct.
So that'll be more, that'll help improve that situation. Expenses are below where they were last year, but last year we had the purchase of the ambulance. So if you took the ambulance out, we'd be up by 107,000 higher, which is 4.3% higher, which is a little more than we have in the 3% budget. So that's just one of the things I say we should be watching closely is just the budgets. But again, overall year-to-date, really good position. Any questions?
Well, I think it should be remembered that, of course, this isn't good work. I don't wish to make that kind of a comment, but this, of course, is just a snapshot of a, quick reference point, taken, kind of a thing. So we do want to keep that in mind. And there were a couple of, was there one or two grant things in here, Rob, that, of course, won't be recurring?
Right, and that's where, like, there were negatives there.
Yeah.
Because the Murray Path and had some grants and donations we received in 2022.
Right.
We won't get this year.
Okay,
Same
okay.
thing with, like, ARP funds, the ARP funds will not,
Yeah,
doesn't
okay.
impact next month,
Oh,
or this month.
all right. Mrs. Rankin, do you have any comments regarding this
I don't at this time.
time? All right.
We can have a conversation about that.
All right.
Can I ask for clarification on this
Of
line?
course.
And first, thank you. I do find this very helpful.
Yes, thank you.
So, thank you. Couple things. The first is I did not, and you're just gonna could you slow walk me through it a little bit? I did not understand the last sentence. If you could, for perspective, saving 1,000 in expense is the equivalent of adding one new job in the village that pays 80,000 a year, or two jobs that pay 40,000 a year.
Yeah, and so then that's that last part, 1.125 is our income tax rate. You multiply that by 80,000 in salary, it's $1,000 in revenue.
That would be the earnings tax off of that salary.
Right.
Yes, is what Rob is saying.
Oh, I'm thinking village job.
No, I'm, like, if we,
Okay, this makes total sense now.
and we're, rightfully so, we're trying to,
Okay.
Marcy's got us going in terms of
I
getting some
totally
things
get
that'll
this now.
hopefully generate some more jobs in the area, things like that, so. But it's just looking at the other side, it's both sides of that coin we gotta look at, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, one last question. The 4.3%, I assume that is simply due to higher costs and that perhaps we were a little conservative on our budget, given the information we had at the time, which is probably we should have marked it a little closer to inflation.
Well, this is where I need, it's not easy to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
In UAN, unfortunately, because down at the department level, it gets hard to be able to look at that.
I bet.
But it's primarily some salary and benefits stuff, is like I said, so it's not as much, and I don't know that
Okay.
yet. So that's what that first one, 85,000.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good?
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Helpful.
Oh, it's a sneeze.
Oh, is somebody out there?
Stephen.
It's the ICRC.
Way
Yes,
down at
they're
the bottom,
lurking- they're
way down at
lurking
the
at
bottom of the
us.
stairs? Yeah, okay.
Sound carries.
All right, permission to address council. Dan? No? Yeah, all right. Well, it looks like we don't have any takers here this evening.
Can I ask, I'm sorry, I need another question.
That's okay, sure.
Okay, so we're looking at 170K probably by the end of the year that we will be off in salary and benefits. Is that
I
correct?
don't know. This, to Bill's point, this is 6 months through the year.
Right.
I mean, if there's things like overtime now and there's not as much later or things like that, so it goes back all to what months do we have the 3 pay periods versus 2 pay periods? So it gets
Right.
challenging to get into.
Well, Susan, are you talking about in revenue or expenses?
Well, the key differences in expenses, as of June 30th, we were 85,000 off, which, you know, if you just extrapolate, that's 170,000 off for the year. And so that's not necessarily something we can control at this juncture. So I don't know what if it makes sense for us to look at that and see if there are other spaces or areas that we can control or purchases we need to put off. If that number can be extrapolated, it sounds like we don't know that.
Yeah, we'd have to, even to your first point, can't even know if it can extrapolate, because again, there might be
Yeah.
overtime now and not as much later, so I didn't have the time to be able to go have those kind of discussions with different folks, so.
Okay.
You know, and according to Chuck, I mean, we are pretty much on course for our revenue
Yes.
coming in. You know, I've got the latest here. I think we're gonna hit that 2.6 number, you know, again, so.
I do,
I think we'll do that. I
Well,
think,
we
Yeah.
could, but he's trying to be conservative, you know, and just basically say, we'll probably hit the 2.6 number, but you're right, it could be more. But again, you know, he talks about that kind of crazy anomaly that sort of happens in the fourth quarter. You know, so it's a little hard to just extrapolate one to the next.
yeah, you
right.
can't multiply by two.
You can't
Yeah,
do that.
exactly.
But expenses, in particular, salaries and benefits, potentially, depending on what's driving that, could be extrapolated, but we don't know.
Right.
And then, just to flag, I do think 3% is conservative on our cost estimates, and so that we should anticipate an impact, given the increased cost
Yes.
of everything.
Of everything, yeah,
And so,
exactly.
so if there are things that we can postpone, that maybe we should begin to identify that. And I don't know, is that finance committee, so that we have the ability to have that conversation about maybe postponing some purchases?
Fiscal officer.
That maybe we're looking for suggestions not to do so,
Yeah.
but that we have that information should we need to do so.
Right, and then but always bear in mind that when we postpone, we're just
Kicking the can down the
kicking
road.
can down the road.
Yeah.
Might cost even more later.
Right.
That's correct, but it also mean that, you know, we
Yeah,
have
I mean,
to-
I think it's
yeah.
a good exercise. I think we just have to work within realistic parameters
Yeah.
of what, you know, we can kick down the road that will kick us in the pants down the road.
Agreed, completely.
No. And it's not like, I mean, you know, it's not like we're not gonna take another look at it until we're, you know, well past some
Yeah.
point of no return or something. It's the kind of thing that we will be looking at, you know, on practically a bi-weekly type of a deal, so. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, obviously, we're gonna, you know, try and shoot for not having something sneak up on us, you know, expense-wise and kick us in the,
Or just have a plan
Yeah.
of things that, you know, we are willing to wiggle on, should we need to.
Hey, Rob?
Yeah?
Just one quick question. Do you have a schedule of the Grywick condo buildings and when they're coming off of tax abatement? I know Richard had alluded to that, but.
Yeah, so Richard did a wonderful job with getting the data from the Hamilton County Auditor.
Okay.
It goes by condo,
Okay,
and there are a whole bunch of 2023, that are coming off in
the
2023.
Jordan Park ones
Yeah.
be first.
yeah.
Yeah. So it is by condo, by unit,
Right,
That's
by
it.
when it was sold.
and how much additional revenue each one will generate, and things like that.
Okay,
So, that's why I said, right now, I mean, the property taxes are so far $22,000
Right.
ahead of where
I
they-
just wondered, like, do we know so much in 2023, so much in 2024, so much in
a ballpark.
ballpark?
The
I
question
know
is,
the valuation changes.
yeah, and there's just also that 6-month lag time, right? Because you pay in arrears.
Right.
Right.
So there's that as well, that makes it a little challenging. So I could say, oh, yeah, this much 1 year after it goes off, but during the year that it comes off, I don't know exactly
Right.
how it's gonna play out,
Yeah.
so.
All right,
Close,
are we all good?
Thank you.
Good?
Thanks.
Thank
Okay. Any question about the bills? Have you looked that over? All right, no questions, and a motion to pay the bills, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right, let's pay the bills. All right, we don't have any committee reports tonight, but I want to take a minute here to sort of clear up or correct up. We we have the whole issue of the Miami, the way the Murray, or the new bike path is gonna come through the Hiawatha-Remble medium kind of a thing. And that Mr. Ayer has gotten a couple of estimates, one from Kleinger's and one from Choice.
Chris Ertl did.
Chris Ertl did.
Right.
Yeah, and so I am going to put the evaluation of those two estimates and make a determination as, you know, to which one is the better of the two that we should go with. That is gonna be in the safety committee now, in Mr. Ayer's committee.
Thank
And-
you.
Okay, and then I think what we should do, if you look down here under the committee of the whole a while back, you know, we put in there the Hiawatha-Remble Miami Road recommendation kind of thing. I think that ought to come out for now. I think we ought to take this a step at a time. Let's let Matt hold the committee meeting, make a determination, you know, as to which company is going to do it, and then let them proceed. And as that happens,
We
you know,
put
then,
in- yeah.
then we can decide, you know, what the appropriate next step, you know, or whose committee then from there it should go into.
I think,
Well, it seems like it just should stay in safety to me, I don't know.
Maybe
But
it should.
there's-
Yeah, maybe it should, yes.
So why can't we say that now?
Well, because, you know, at some point, we, like I said, back on, it looks like May the 8th here or something, you know, we decided we're going to move this over to Committee of the Whole. I'm not entirely certain what the discussion was then or why that happened, but,
well, remember, we were in the Public Works meeting, and the Remble, Hiawatha paving was part of the question, and how far do we go? You know, and then talking to Chris about all the moving pieces in that, and that's when I think we made
Yeah, I
the
think it was related to the
determination
repaving.
that part
It's
it
not-
was
some of it
gone.
was the
but where do
repaving,
we-
the cut through across the median on
Do we do Indian View? Don't
Yeah.
we do Indian View?
But
So I think we realized a
think-
lot of things were dependent on what happens with the connector.
But a lot of those issues will come up and be talked about and discussed as the companies proceed with
Sure, sure.
evaluations.
So Chris wrote a scope of work, and he sent it to the two engineering companies here in town that he felt would be qualified and are good fits size-wise for working with our village. And so he has those two proposals. Chris plans to score those just independently, bring that to the committee meeting, and then the other two members, I'm hoping, will do the same with whatever scoring method they want to do, because they've got the scope of work and they have the two proposals. That's what I plan to do. So out of that meeting, I hope to make, I hope that our committee can make a recommendation to council that we can talk about at the meeting on August 14th, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's the way to proceed here, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that, maybe after that recommendation, we might be able to decide.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to wait, we should be able to know at that point in time, okay.
Well, at that point in time, we will, and at that point in time, we can make.
It definitely touches, you know, public works
Yeah.
and safety and everything. And I think that the emphasis of this study truly is safety, and it's a lot more than the shared use path crossing. It's also, how do we resolve the longstanding questions, concerns, and ideas that we've had about traffic calming going down and up Miami?
Right.
And,
Right.
and so I'm hoping comes out of this.
But just so we're clear, and those who may be watching at home, that is not what is going to get decided at this upcoming meeting. It's basically just an evaluation of the two separate companies
To see
and their
who's gonna do
proposals
the
as to, you know,
evaluation.
who's going to be the best.
And and the scope of work involves a thorough public involvement process
Yeah,
for that matter.
yeah. And Matt's meeting will be an open public meeting, even the decision on these two companies. So anyone in the public that's at home listening right now, you are, of course, welcome to come to that meeting and participate and have your say-so.
Why don't we have Matt tell us exactly when that meeting is again, so
It'll be
it's.
Wednesday, 4 PM.
Wednesday,
thank you.
4 PM. That's
Just-
Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, yes. All right,
Just for those who are watching.
yeah, yeah. All right, that's all we have with committee reports this time. And miscellaneous,
Thanks, Tom, thanks, Nick.
thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Miscellaneous.
The first item in miscellaneous is to appoint the member of council to the Planning Commission, because Matt is a new member on council, and he was on the ARB. Marcy was on the ARB. One of them had to come off the ARB. I believe that they have worked it out between the two of them, what that would be, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I don't know where you are, if a final decision, but Marcy is going to come over to the Planning Commission.
And Matt will go.
Matt will
stay on
just stay where
ARB.
he
We
is.
can't have two council members.
Right,
Yeah.
figured that.
Is that acceptable to you guys?
That's
Yeah, we-
yeah,
we got it.
that's what we're
We talked about-
suggesting.
we-
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
So we need a new member of ARB.
No, well,
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
If you
Well,
lose one,
empty spot.
coming up, we will, yes, yeah.
but not a council
Not,
person.
but not a council person, and this planning commission then, when she comes over there, we will have the appropriate 5 members on that. And then, because Matt is already on ARB, we don't really need any kind of I'm not making a recommendation, we're not voting anything like that. He's just staying where he was.
But you'll come back with a recommendation to backfill behind Marcy on ARB.
Say that again, Rob?
You're gonna come back with a recommendation to backfill behind Marcy on ARB, right?
Yeah, yes.
some point.
Yeah, but we're not there quite there yet.
Right.
Right,
We didn't know who was coming off.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I get it.
right. Getting a little bit more difficult, I hate to have to say that to get people, but yes, I'm working on that. All right, village offices will be closed Monday, September the 4th, in observance of Labor Day. All right, we have,
Can I make
two-
a miscellaneous comment?
pardon?
Can I make a miscellaneous comment?
Yeah,
Just to
of course, yes, of course.
So we had our first meeting with Envision, our kickoff meeting on July 19th.
Mm.
We have a subsequent follow-up meeting on August 14th, and that meeting's gonna be late in the day, so Emil can stay, and you guys can all meet him and ask questions, and so I just wanted to give you a heads up that we'll be doing that on August 14th.
So he can stay for the council meeting
Yeah.
if there are questions.
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks,
Yeah.
Marcy.
All right, first resolution regarding Mr. Holloway.
To convert and appoint village zoning officer Rod Holloway from independent contractor to part-time village employee, calendar years 2023 and 2024.
Okay, that's the second reading, that's the discussion reading. I know it seems like every time Rod is here, I don't know whether I'm embarrassing him or not. I mean, I cannot speak more highly of the job that he is doing, how well we get along, how well we work together. I mean, I think he's a great addition to the building department here.
I would really echo that, Bill. He's really
As would
good.
I.
He's on top of everything.
Okay. All right, again, that's the second reading. We'll have the third reading next council. All right, next resolution, please.
Resolution approving appropriation reallocations in Fund 4901 and to declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second and third reading, please.
So moved.
second.
All right, Mr. Ayer,
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye,
Mr. York.
Aye.
May we have a second reading?
Resolution approving appropriation reallocations in Fund 4901 and to declare emergency.
All right, that's the second reading. That's discussion. Any questions? Kelly?
Again, we're just reallocating within the permanent improvement fund.
Right.
yes, that 15,000 is coming from the, what, Kubota that John's not getting,
Correct.
so that's moving over to this.
Mm,
And then the 25,
yeah,
44.
okay.
And 2544 is from something else.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm making a new account to move that money into.
We all good? All right, may we have the third reading, please?
I have a
Re-
quick question. Isn't that money gonna be reimbursed, though? Did we just talk about that
Not
last
all of
time?
it.
The 15,000? For-
Seven-
for the clock repair?
17.
Yes, for the,
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe I talked about that, yeah, for the
Yeah, last
clock,
time.
yes.
I just was clarifying, that's
Yes,
all.
yes. The National Exemplar is paying for the restoration of
Okay,
the
gotcha.
clock, yes.
But this is the net amount that we're still gonna pay, is that right? Or is this, to Marcy's point, is this,
That,
I didn't think we were getting reimbursed for the full thing, were we?
that is the contractual amount with the Verdant company that's actually doing the repair. Now, the village will have, we're gonna help a teeny bit in its removal, and we're gonna then have to re-examine the base of the clock and the wiring of the clock, to, see if there should be any additional work there. If there is some, yes, that would be on the village.
Okay.
But given the initial inspection, everything from that looks good. But until you get the thing out of there, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that will be by our service department
Yeah,
employees.
yes, yeah. Well, I mean, if for some unknown reason, the electrical aspect of it is beyond the scope and range of our maintenance guys to repair, then yeah, we'll have to get an electrician in there to take a look at it. But on the initial inspection, it's looked pretty good.
What was the timing on that? They,
Oh, you
When
got
do-
the clock, Jim.
when they were gonna, when were they gonna take it down?
Well, you know, when they get the time, they're gonna take it down.
Hold on a second.
Because of the strictness and the peculiarities of village finance, I can't move ahead signing that contract until I have written notice from the National Exemplar that they will be reimbursing us the amount. I'm simply waiting on that.
That's
That's
fair.
consistent with what we've done for the other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Right, writing.
All right,
So,
Third reading.
and I mean, I've communicated, you know, with the appropriate people, and I had to supply a couple extra things. But yes, as far as I know, all is good. Yeah, so once the clock is taken down, though, Randy, in answer to your question, I think they're talking, you know, a couple of months because, you know, the whole thing has to be taken apart and sandblasted and painted, and the works all have to be changed out, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But they will be, the reinstall of the clock will be entirely on them, not us, which I think
Right.
is
So it's total
a
restoration.
big plus.
Of the,
Total
oh,
restoration,
that's gonna be really nice.
yeah,
yeah, look good.
Long time coming.
yeah. I think the lighting, you know, on the face of the clock will be LED, you know, you'll cut down on the energy use and so on and so forth. You know, and the face of the thing, which you can, you know, is so badly, you know, sun faded down and all that kind of stuff. It should be fantastic when it comes back. Yeah, so, we all good?
It's right twice a day.
It's right twice a day, yes. All right, now that you've thrown me completely off, do we already have, do we have?
read it twice.
Okay, may we have the third reading, please?
Resolution approving appropriation reallocations in Fund 4901 and to declare emergency.
All right, I need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved. Oh, second.
There we go.
We're in sync already, Matt.
Mr.
That
Air,
doesn't take long. Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye,
All right, I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved.
second.
Second, Mr. Air.
Hang on.
Aye.
Oh,
Who moved to adopt? Brown Knight. Okay, and
And
Rob?
Matt say.
Matt,
Matt.
Matt
Matt.
seconded.
Thank you. Okay.
And
Right.
then
Fair
me
question.
and Randy.
all right, I'll say it again, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved. Well, I think we had that.
I know we had it, but
Okay, it
with
was
the-
couldn't hear.
myself and Randy.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we voted?
No, we've just had the motion. We got
Now vote.
Now
Now
vote. Okay. You see, with all these interruption, guys, it gets a little, all right, Mr. Air.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, it'll be adopted. Okay, 60 seconds. Anybody have any comments regarding the task list?
I have a question.
Yes.
On the task list, the pool was assigned to Mrs. Geldbaugh, and that shows up on that task list. And,
That's actually a committee assignment.
okay, all right, so that's a committee assignment. Is that moving to the safety committee then, or staying in the safety committee? Do I need to be working on the pool? That's my question.
Well,
I don't know anything about it, but maybe that's,
its original life basically was in Randy's committee. But Leah basically agreed to sort of take it over because Mr. York is, you know, is involved in so many other things.
Well, and Leah was involved with the pool. Her daughter swims. She was
Exactly.
engaged.
Exactly.
Well, and Leah was a member of Health and Rec, too.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right. She basically is still very engaged down there. I talk to her almost every other day about some issue at the pool. I would say that, why don't we just leave it as it is? She can consult with you if something is needed, and we'll sort of finish out the season at the pool, if you're good doing it that way.
That's fine. I
Randy,
just want to know.
I mean, you're okay?
Yeah, I know that Terry and I are working on like a 5-year plan. and the conversation we had this morning about the state capital appropriations, so we'll continue to work on that.
Right.
Because, yeah, there's actually, because it's in, that is, the task list does have the swim pool in there as well, so it's sort of a little, we need to eventually have it come out of one committee, I think, you know,
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
Yeah,
eventually.
eventually, yeah, I think
Come,
it's working now the way that it's sort of set up.
Randy, if you're working with Terry on the 5-year plan, and I guess the pool commission, or maybe just Terry, I don't know, but would you prefer it be in your committee then? I
It
mean,
doesn't matter. I mean, it rightfully should be in my committee.
And it
And I
started
think
there.
it just went over to Leah's because she was engaged and
Right.
active in it, and it made more sense. Yeah, so if you have nothing to do with the pool, then we can move it back. I don't have a problem with that. It's my responsibility.
I would be coming up to speed from ground zero, so it might make best sense to put it in your committee, and I'm happy to help you with stuff since I'm in that committee as well.
yeah, and since you've got since you're already working on the 5-year plan and you're on the task list is working on the pool, it would make sense to.
We can move it back.
Well, we can move it back if you want to move it back to, like I said, I mean, essentially Lee's going to be doing the heavy lifting other than the, working on the 5-year plan possibly, so there's,
Well, your name's next to fixing the leak, Bill.
well, every so often I go down here and put
I
my
know
finger
how
in the
to
dike.
fix the leak.
You're doing a fine job.
I do a fine job of it, right. All right, so we'll put it back then in Mr. York's committee then for the
That's
time
fine.
being. Okay.
Hey, Bill, just and to build on that, so, because originally we said we're gonna do committees, one meeting and the task list the other. One of the things I think would be helpful, instead of just sort of saying, hey, anybody have any updates? I think it would be good if you step through and just say, do we have any updates? Or, the question is, have you got any, have there been anything that's been completed? And then second thing is there anything coming up that we should be aware of, And so that's, I think would be helpful to just say, go through like mine, say, Rob, okay, what's going on here with, no, I'm not talking about tonight,
Well,
but
I
just
want to do one tonight.
finance committee, liability insurance renewal. And I would say, oh, I have a meeting coming up on August 9th. So it just, I think it'd be good to make sure we step through, because
Well, I mean, when I sort of say, does anyone have a comment, they wish to, update us, that's essentially what I'm asking.
There you go.
They would, basically, that'd be their opportunity if they wish to add something at this time, or they have new information at this time.
yeah, but sometimes we have things that sit for a long time because there's no updates.
Well, that's, then Rob, that would be your opportunity to basically say.
Ask questions.
Ask a question, yeah. Susan, why is this sitting? Or something.
Yeah,
Yes, Susan.
yes,
Well, I
and-
Yeah,
can tell
Susan.
you, I'm first in line, because I have not submitted the committee report.
No,
But work has been done,
yeah,
so.
I think that would be the procedure, the way to do
well,
it.
may I make a request?
You-
I've already lost, so it doesn't matter.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
In the Public Works Committee, we can take out the, long-term plan for painting the lamp poles, because they will be done.
Oh, you're right, yes.
And hopefully the fire hydrants in the fall, right?
We're working
Well,
on
the
that
hydrants haven't
together.
been painted yet, but.
No, I said
No,
in the
no,
fall.
no, no,
Yeah,
that's,
right.
that's, some moving pieces.
Okay, so we want to take out long-term
The
painting of.
first item, please.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay, done. All right.
And then under my health and rec, it was surveying the village-wide benches. That's another project that Leah was very interested in.
Right.
I have a resident, Brenda Westfall. I sent her all the information, and she's gonna put together some recommendations
oh.
and an assessment. It may be a maintenance schedule, whatever it is. So
Okay.
a couple weeks, I should have a nice report from her for that.
Okay, well, that'd be nice, okay. All right. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, the tax budget got submitted to the county without any glitches.
You're right, and I do want to give a little kudos. I know Mrs. Rankin has been working hard, long, and very diligently on this, getting this put together.
Thank you.
It's not been an easy task, given the fact that she's kind of new at doing that. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
And kudos to you for putting that together. And you could refresh us a little bit, that it's sent to the county? Is that-
County auditor
The county auditor, yes.
for the tax budget.
Yeah, okay.
So
All
they
right.
just basically say, this is what we're gonna need.
Mhm.
Please give it to us.
Give it to us, yeah. If only it worked that way.
I padded it with 10%, so we should be okay.
Okay.
Can-
All right.
Is that on the
Can we
record?
talk about the puzzle? Is that appropriate?
Puzzle.
Kate Albert did that Centennial print, and the village owns the rights to that print. MPF wants to make puzzles out of that same print. So we have to grant them permission. So I'm not,
Well, I did send you an email response to that earlier today. Basically, the way that I would understand it was gonna be a question to Ed, essentially. If we own the rights and MPF wishes to make puzzles to raise money, for their projects, I would assume that basically, if you were to draft a letter sort of saying that the mayor grants whatever, and I would sign it, and we could run it by council to agree with it,
Right.
that would be all that would
Okay.
be required.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially.
so you'll dictate the letter and send it to Ed, or you want me to do it, or?
Well, we could do it that way. I sort of asked him to put the
Or
letter
just put
together.
something- okay.
Yeah.
What is the,
Bill will fill me in on
does-
what the parameters are as far as how long this is gonna be granted, what the purpose is.
yeah,
Then I'll prepare something, you guys can decide.
Consign.
is it
Is it okay to do it next time? Next council meeting?
Yeah, well, I think they wanted to order them because they wanted to sell them at Taste of Mariemont, so it's a bit of a time crunch on
When
it.
is that?
27th, I believe.
That means we should make a decision tonight somehow if we can, because our next meeting's not till,
The 14th?
yeah.
I don't think we can if it's not on the agenda, right?
Yeah, this is not, you're right. I
We
mean,
can put it on the agenda for next meeting, right?
we can do that.
Yeah,
He can
he can
go
submit
ahead and
the letter
prepare the
at that
letter, and I can have the letter. I mean, I guess I could, like I said,
Yeah, here's what I would suggest, to make it a little bit simpler. I'll prepare the letter that the mayor's gonna send to MPF authorizing them to do that. Next council meeting, you guys will have one before the council meeting. If there's something that you want tweaked prior to the council meeting, we can do that. If not, you've at least had an opportunity to mull it over, and then you can make your decision at the council meeting. Because it's my understanding, it's just gonna be for a limited period of time, for a limited purpose, right?
for a limited purpose, and the purpose being fundraising for village projects. I mean, it's not as though this is a commercial enterprise of
Right.
some kind.
It will go into the Centennial budget.
Yeah,
Into
exactly.
their Centennial account.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
so.
so it's restricted to the Centennial account? Thank you.
Ed, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay. All right.
No, don't. We've
ready?
4 minutes.
No, just, if you looked, all right, we're adjourned.
Okay, so what's the official time?
7:07.
7:07, what everybody have?